everyone, right? Please start interacting with me or others, right? So if I ask any question, so if you know, you can say. If not, you can be unmute. But this is general question, right? So please start interact from here itself. Okay. Fine. So this one is our SQL material having 26 pages, right? And no need to worry about this one 26 pages. So we have a lot of examples and syntaxes in all these 26 pages. Mainly we need to concentrate on this 15 concepts, I can say. So each concept will have 3 to 4 lines of what is this theoretical part definition. So table partition. So what is table partition? Types of table partition. Same way subqueries, sequence, cluster. So every concept will have one small definition, and we do have types of that. So synonym, we have 2 types, views 4 types, indexes 5 types, like that, right? It's like a simple and straightforward definitions. So interviewers also will raise questions on these concepts only maximum. But we do have multiple examples inside that. Let's say if we take functions, number functions, string functions, right? You might aware functions in other programming languages also. If not, fine, we will learn here. Okay. And before starting any programming language, we need to know some rules we need to follow, right? Just like syntax. Okay, so we are going to learn one programming language, right? To communicate with the database. So we should be able to understand the syntax, and we should be able to provide same syntax to communicate with the database, right? So we are going to learn that rules and syntaxes here, just like our any other game rules, right? So if we take cricket, we do have some rules and regulations there to follow, right? We do have 6 balls per over, right? And 2 batsmen should be in crease to play, and 11 fielders, right? One bowler, one wicket keeper. Same way, we do have rules and regulations here also. We call it as syntax. So if we are able to learn this one, we will be able to play SQL game. That's it. As simple as that, right? So we will start learning from here. Okay, so before that, again we will see introduction part. And already we know SQL is a structured query language. Okay, use it to communicate with the database. That's it. So the transaction can be anything with database: to store the data, to retrieve the data, or to what is this validate the data, anything, right? So we are going to communicate with the database by using SQL, structured query language. And already we know what is data. So it can be any number, any name, character, which is giving some information about a object, about a device, about a person, right? We can call it as data. And where we are storing that data? In a database. So it is a collection of objects, collection of data in a particular order, right? Here data will be organized, so which can be understand by database and then user who is using that, right? So once we store data in database, we can communicate and we can get it however the format we want. Okay, so we can see some examples on this later. And then we have 2 types here. So one is DBMS, RDBMS, what it is, right? So database management system, and RDBMS, relational database management system. Okay, so there are some differences between these two, right? Again we can see it is also one important interview question. Okay, so database management system is like one way. So at a time, one user can use that database management system, and he can store the data, he can retrieve the data, right? When it comes to relational database management system, multiple users can use at a time, right? They can do modification, select, and storing everything, right? So multiple users can connect. And relational, if you see R before DBMS, R relational means there will be relation between each and every table which we created in our database. So when it comes to DBMS, it's like individual. So let's take our previous examples, right? Mm, we have supplier customer. Okay, so before placing a order, right, we created one customer table also. So customer name, right, and customer mobile number, and then password. So if we don't have, relation between this customers table and customer orders table, this one orders, right? Once we place a order, this entire data will get inserted in orders table, Amazon orders table. But what is the condition, main rule? So if any customer registered with Amazon, then only he is going to place the order. I mean, he will get eligibility to place the order. Otherwise, it will ask uh, them to create their account, right? So once they create, let's say Jeff created his account and so on, so mobile number, we'll take same one, right? So if it is available in register table, which he registered initially when he opened Amazon website, so if it is available in our main table, so immediately orders table will get validated. So while placing the order, either this mobile number registered with Amazon or not. If it is registered, then only he can able to order the item. Otherwise, first it will ask them to create the account. Once they create their account, then only they can place the order. Here there will be relation. So again, we are going to learn about tables relation by using foreign key. That is future concept. But here we just learning difference between DBMS and RDBMS. That's it. Okay. So present we have RDBMS only in the market, right? All companies are using RDBMS only. So a lot of users are there by using RDBMS. We will see one by one. Okay. So if it is available in registration table, then only he can place the order. Same thing with supplier. If he registered and he updated the quantity, then only he can sell that product to a customer, right? Registration is mandatory. Okay. So that is about relation. Again, here you can't understand entire concept of relation between tables. Again, we have one separate concept, constraints. So those are also used to maintain the data quality. There we will learn entire concept about relation between tables, right? Okay, so that is about it. Okay, otherwise we'll show here. Okay, I will share this document also with you, right? You can go through it later. And actual part start from here, data types, right? So if it is in Excel or any other general notebook or wherever, so if you want to store some data, let's say a better example, right? uh, ta- 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 ta, Maybe students, right? So let's take students table. So just like our attendance register, right? So if we write students data in a attendance register or any other notebook, what we do, simply we draw some lines, and if we have lines already, well and good, directly we can enter the data. If not, so let's say I need employee student ID, student name, and student branch, so three columns, right? So first we will create columns. I mean, so we may have 15 students or we may have 150 students in a class. So this structure, right? A table is common and table column names are common. Let's say yes name, student name, right? And SID, student ID. Maybe first we'll go with the SID, student ID, then student name, and then branch. Okay. So these three fields we want to store in a notebook. So we no need to follow any rules. If we have book and pen, directly we can write it. Okay, student ID, student name, branch. That's it, right? And we can start entering data. And here it can be number, or here it can be A1. I mean character plus number, anything, right? So it won't stop us writing any data here. And same thing here, right? Same thing here. We can write whatever we want. Even it can be correct or incorrect, right? Let's say student John, and then branch CSC. Okay. So just like that, we can directly draw a table and we can start storing the data in a notebook or in an Excel sheet or any other text format, anything, right? But while coming to SQL, we need to follow some rules, right? So simply if we say student ID, how SQL is going to understand that? So, okay, student ID is fine, column header, right? So what it is going to do? Is it going to store number? Is it going to store character? We need to specify that clearly. So student ID, let's say we are going to store only numbers, right? So we are going to say to SQL, it is a number data type while creating the table itself. Okay, so students is my table name, and I'm going to store three columns. So these three columns we will provide while creating the table, and then what type of data it is, right? So obviously we will use table to store the data, right? And what type of data it is? So we have multiple data options. So we can store number, character, varchar, date, timestamp. All these are data types, right? So long raw. These data types used to store the large files and image objects and videos. So any data, right, we can store in database, and there will be one table to store that information. Even our YouTube videos, OTT content videos, web series, everything will get stored in a database in a table structure only. There will be one ID, identification ID, and video name, whatever name, right, they can allocate. So what is the link and what is the duration, everything will get stored in a table. Okay, from there only, when we click on one YouTube video, from database only it will get, what is this, poplet, it will play from there only, right? Same way here, students information, if we are going to store in a database, so clearly we are going to say it is my number data type. For student ID, I am going to store numbers only, right? So when it comes to name, we are going to use varchar 2, and you can see two types here, char, varchar 2. Both data types are used to store characters only, right? It will allow characters as well as numbers. But there is one small difference between these two data types. We will see once we create the table, right? So for now, I'm going to use varchar2, which is common in real-time scenarios while creating the character data type columns. Okay. Again, next branch also, right? So we'll use varchar. Okay, fine. We'll go with the char only. So anyhow, we are going to use three characters. We'll discuss what is the difference. Okay. So when it comes to names, right? So in India, we don't have any numbers in a name. Right? Few people may have, but in other Western countries, they do have numbers, right? So John 1, Nicholas 2, Nicholas 3, like that. So they can have numbers also in their names. It will allow. So varchar is nothing but both number and characters combination. So either we can store numbers, either we can store characters by using varchar2 data type. Same way, character also, but one difference is there. Let's say again, next thing we need to learn about size. Okay, here you can see number data type syntax. It will allow only numeric values, numbers, and maximum size 38 digits. Okay, so digits means just like this. So 1 2, now we are using 2 digits, right? So let's say next time 2 3 5 6, 4 digits, like that. We can store up to 38 digits by using number. Okay, it is size, representing size of that column. Okay, so we are going to store number data type in a student ID, and 38 is maximum size, but I don't want to use 38. So do we have 38 digit student ID? No, right? Maximum 10 or 15, right? So let's say I'm going to store only 5 digit. Means student ID is nothing but hall ticket ID. It can be up to 10 or 12 maximum. Okay, so when I say number 5, that means we are going to store up to 5-digit number only under student ID column. So let's say one student has like this, 1 2 4 5. So 4 digit, it will accept. Next 5 digit, it will accept. So let's say another student by mistake, he is going to enter 1 2 3 4 5 6 by mistake, right? He entered one more number while inserting or updating. So it won't allow, right? So when we declare maximum size 5 means, so we are going to store up to 5 digits. It can be 1 digit, it can be 2 digit, it can be 3 4 5, up to 5. So if we enter 6 digit, we will get error, right? Because we communicated to database saying, okay, I'm going to store number data type 5 characters, 5 digits, right? Up to 5 digit only it will store, because already we instructed to database to store 5 digits only, right? Again, let's say next year they increased hall ticket numbers to up to 6 digit. So later we can change it. Again, we need to communicate. So initially we communicated to store 5 digit, right? So this year, let's say we want to increase it up to 6. So if it is in another files, directly we can go and change, right? We can insert whatever we want. But if it is in a SQL table, again we are going to alter, we are going to modify that structure. Okay, so earlier you have maximum size 5. From this year you are going to store 6 digit number, right? So we will change that table structure. Same thing applicable with characters also. Let's say initially I created my varchar2 with 15. Okay, so means it is going to store up to 15 characters names. Okay, so if someone has more than 15 characters in their name, it won't allow. So again, we are going to modify table structure to store more characters. Okay, and here also, and branch, let's say by default we are following 3. Okay, CSC, make civil, like that. Okay, anything civil. So we are following 3 characters coding, right? So we are going to say only CSC, make civil. Okay, for branch name representation. Okay, that's why I given character which is fixed length. Okay, this difference I will explain. Okay, so we'll start creating student table now. So do you see any other fields we can add here along with the student ID, branch name, student name? Any other fields required? Maybe gender. What else we can add? So columns, right? So we are going to create a student table, and already we have 4 columns. What else we can add to make it clear, informative? Any common columns? Otherwise we'll go with the
Marks.
data types. Marks also we can, but we can store that in different table. For now, date. So when it comes to date, what we can store related to student? So what dates they do have? Can we say date of birth, right? So we can store date of birth of a student. If we want to, we can store date of joining of a student. So right. So it is again date. So it is not a number. It is not a character. So when it comes to gender, again cat, either male or female, we can go with the character. When it comes to date of birth, we are going to use date. Okay. For now, one is fine. And then times are not required. Okay. Up to 4, we will be good. We will use mobile number also. Okay, so by using these 6 columns, I'm going to create table now. Okay, for now we are going to work on table structure only by using these data types. Okay, 1 minute, I will show you that. So SQL statements, these 5 types are very important. Repeatedly on daily basis in real time, we are going to work on these 5 statements only, SQL statements. So data definition means table structure. So forget about remaining all, right? So forget about data. Okay, like this. Okay. Only structure. So we are going to work on structure. Okay, only the structure. So if we want to change any table name, data type, or creating a table starting level, right? Everything comes under definition. Data definition language means only structure of the table. So initially we are going to create a table. Let's say I want to add one more column, right? So it's a date of join. Okay. So those all changes comes under data definition language. So we have 5 commands here. So what is data definition language? It is used to work on a table structure. Okay, it is our table structure. Once we create a table, so it will be like this in our database, right? Again, if we want to remove a column, if we want to add new column, or if we want to change name, if we want to change data type or size, we will use DDL only, data definition language. We have 5 types. Okay, so first one, create. When we use create, it will create a table from starting level, scratch. Okay, so first created a table, right? Later I want to add DOZ, date of join. So we need to alter. By using alter command, we can change column, definitions, size, what else, names, everything we can change by using alter. So again, under alter we do have four types. One is add, to add new column, right? And one more to drop, to drop existing column. Let's say I don't want to use mobile number, we can drop it by using alter drop combination, right? And if we want to rename a column, by using alter rename, we can rename the column name. And then what else, modify. So initially I told, right? So if we give number 5 here, and if we want to increase size of that 5, we can use modify. Okay, first create is used to create a table, and then alter to modify the table structure, means columns only, adding new column, dropping old column, renaming, I mean column name changes, and modifying data type or size both. So here we declared number, right? Initially, let's say later they introduced characters in student ID, so we can change data type also from number to varchar. We will see all examples. And then coming to third one, so let's say I don't want this table at all, right? We can go with the drop table from our database. So we can give that name and we can drop it. That is third one. And when it comes to fourth one, again we have rename option. So we can change table names also, just like column names. So initially I given students. Let's say I want to make it a student info. So I can change that name. So that is fourth command, rename. Okay, and then finally we have truncate. So it won't make any changes to definition, means column name changes or table name changes, anything, only data. It will work on data. So whatever the data we stored in this table, entire data will get deleted at a time and auto committed. Okay, so either truncate or delete, both will do same job only, but there is one difference between them. Again, it is also very important interview question in real time. So even 5 years or 10 years experience person also will get interview question on this. Okay, so again we can discuss it clearly. So as of now we are good, right? So under data definition language, we have 5 commands used to work on table structure. That's it. Creating a table, renaming a table, dropping a table, or altering. Means again alter is nothing but which is used to work on columns. Renaming a column, dropping a column, modifying column. Then what else? What else we have? So that's it. Adding, dropping, modifying, rename. Okay. So anyone have any questions up to here? So you can see under DDL. So these are auto commit commands. These are session independent. These are used to define database objects. Okay. So if we use create, it will create a table, initial structure of a table, then altering. So whatever we have seen, adding, modifying, dropping, right, and renaming. And again, drop, rename, also use it to modify the table names or table drop. Okay, truncate. It works like delete plus commit. And delete is used to delete the data. Don't get confused. Again, we will see this one. This comes under DML. So you see 5 types right here. DDL, data definition language, just to work on the definition structure of a table. Okay, so what are the commands? 5 commands we discussed, all these applicable on structure here only in this one. Okay, what is this? Headers. And then DML, data manipulation language. DML commands we have 3. These DML commands used to work on data. So if we have table, right, and now we are going to store your data. One student record. So what is the ID? Let's say 10. And what is the name? Jeff. What is the branch? CSC. Right? Gender, male, date of birth. So all this information we are going to provide by using insert script. Okay? So if we want to work on data, we are going to use DML, data manipulation language. We have three commands. We'll see what it is. Insert is used to insert a row first time. So if it is not available in our table, we are going to use insert and we will insert that row, right? Next one, update. Let's say Jeff already inserted, I mean registered with this college, and we have the data. For now, we will avoid the DOC not required. Okay. Okay. Let's say he want to modify, he want to change his branch from CSA to some other branch. So already we have that record. Just modification, update required, right? He don't want to change anything else. He just want to update branch. So from CSC to EC, right? Means change from existing data to new data. For that, we are going to use update. Okay. By using update command, we can do modifications to a existing row or all rows at a time. Okay. So while executing, you will get to know. For now, I'm just explaining. Okay, what it is going to do, and then delete. So delete itself is telling, right? Delete is used to delete entire row. So if I say delete from students where student ID equal to 10, it is going to delete entire row from our table. Delete. One is insert. Okay, so here I will write here EML used to work on data. My first command is insert when that row is not available, and then second command update. So already data is there, but we want to do changes in the table, right? And then third one, delete. If that record is not required for our usable purpose, right? If it is not required anymore, we can delete that row. So under DDL, we have 5 commands used to work on the table structure. Under DML, we have 3 commands used to work on the data. Clear as of now? Anyone have any questions? Yes, no, something. We'll take new session. Okay. So don't have any questions, right? I'm going to create table as it is. Okay. So here I framed one structure, right? Let's say I want to create same table in our database. Now onwards, we are going to follow some rules. Okay. Back to DDL. Okay. Before this, right, we want to learn something called naming convention rules. Okay, so here we need to follow some rules. Let's say I can't use all type of characters here while creating the table. So let's say I'm going to say create a table 1. So I'm directly using number to create table, so it won't allow us to create a table. So for now I'm giving only ID, which is my number data type, and characters 10 up to 10 digit. Okay, so if I say create a table 1, it won't allow us, because directly we can't start table creation with numbers. So invalid table name. That is our first syntax rule to follow while creating a table or while giving name to a column. Okay, so I can say student 1, it will work, right? So always either table name or column name should start with character, not with number, not with special character. Always should start with character only. And here we can have only 2 characters or 1 character. So let's say create table S, right? It will create that. So table S created. I can say S1, S10, anything. So it will create. But if I use 1 S, it won't work. Okay. So that is main rule we need to remember while creating a table. So applicable, whatever the rules we are following for table names, same thing will be applicable on column names. It should always start with characters only. Okay. So back to our student. So my first column is student ID, right, which is number data type, and we are giving size here. So allow a student to store up to 10-digit student number. Okay, and then next one, student name. What we are going to store here? Characters. Varchar2. Okay, let me say 20. Okay. Under student name, we are going to store up to 20 characters, right? And then next column, what we have? Branch. Okay, fine. Branch again. Okay, I used character 3. And if you observe, right, I can use what are the characters, uppercase, lowercase. It is not like other programming language. It is not case sensitive. We can use whatever we want. So I can say branch B as capital, and here I can say student, right? So I can say D as capital, and here I can use ID as capital, right? Some cases I can use all lowercase. Whatever we want, we can do. So it is not case sensitive, right? It is, so whatever case, uppercase, lowercase, or mixed combination, whatever we want, we can use in SQL. Okay, so that is like a flexible. And if we take any other programming languages, if it is an uppercase, we should use same uppercase only. Otherwise, it won't work. It will throw error, right? Here we have that flexibility. It is not case sensitive. That is one good thing about SQL. Okay. Then transgender. Okay. I'm going to one. Okay. And one more thing we need to remember, we should not use reserved keywords to a table name or column name. So reserved keywords is nothing but which is part of syntax. So create table, any table, right? We can create thousands of table. So this syntax is common. Only table name will get changed. Create table, right? And data types. So we can have up to 1,000 columns in a table. So that is maximum limit. Okay. Let me write here. Name should start with character. Okay. And we can have up to 1,000 columns in a table, but we don't create a table with 1,000 columns. It is very hard to maintain those many columns in a table. Okay, so we do have maximum up to 100. I have seen in my real-time projects that to 98 columns around. Okay, so below that only we do have in real-time tables. Okay, the same rules applicable for columns. Column names. Okay, and date of birth, DOB, and directly here we have date format, date, number, data type. And date, we don't need to give any, what is this, size, right? By default it is a date, that's it. So, and there is one by default format to follow. So if we take in India, we do follow DD YY format, right? To tell name or to write somewhere date. Okay, we do follow DD YY. When it comes to US or Canada, they will follow DD YY. First they will write a month and then date, but here we are following date first, then month, then year. Okay, so but Arkle will follow our syntax only, our format DD YY. So if we provide date here, by default it will store in DD YY. Okay, again we have a lot of functions and dates. We can change that what is this format, everything, whatever we want we can print from that date. Okay, again we can see that later. What else? Mobile number, oil, and it is number data type having 10 digits. That's it, right? So create table student, then all these columns. I'm going to create it. So student created. Okay. So we created one structure, one table structure to store the data. Select star from student. Okay. So we have our student table with 6 columns now. Okay. So now let's say I want to add new column to my existing table. So I have student table with 6 columns. Again, I want to add one more column, student date of join, DOJ. What options we have? So we have 5 commands to work on table structure, right? So first one, we created table by using create. Now I want to add new column to my existing table. So table structure already there, but I missed one column, or in between I got new requirement to store the student date of join. So when they joined, right? So here we are going to use alter along with add, alter plus add. So alter command is used to modify columns, either names, adding new or dropping existing or modifying data types. Okay, we'll see how that works. Alter, and again, so if we go through this document, you can see syntaxes and all. So alter table, table name, add column, column. What is this? Data type and size of that column. Okay, so we are going to modify student, right? So names, so initial status, right? Starting stages, you can see a lot of errors here only. So you will create a table with one name, and while creating alter, it can be what is this, maybe typo mistake or something. So if you miss t here, it is invalid. So we didn't created the student, we created student, right? So if we try to alter student and add, what we are going to add, date of join, which is data type, right? That's it. So this command, I mean this query can add new column to our existing table. But first of all, your table itself is not there, student. Okay, because need to give table. Okay, we'll see now actual error. You see, table or view does not exist because you didn't created this table itself. You created student, but here you are using student, not valid, right? So if we correct this one, so these are the main errors you can face initial status while practicing. Okay, and again these are like real-time errors also, while selecting, while altering, while deleting data, anything. So if we give invalid table name which is not available in our database, we will get this error, table or view does not exist. It doesn't mean either we are using invalid table name or we didn't created the table yet. Okay, so that is what this error message representing. So now I corrected my table name, and I'm going to add date of join, table student altered. Okay, so now if we see select star from student, as of now we have only structure, right? Downside you can see that here. So d was a date of join got added, our table altered, structure modified, we added new column to our existing table. So now we have 7 columns. Okay, so that is how we are going to add new columns to our existing table. This is one thing we need to notice. And then again, under alter, we have 4 types, right? One is add to new column. And then let's say, okay, we'll go with the modify. Okay, alter plus modify. So student name I created with 20 characters, right? So if someone is going to store 25 characters in their name, it won't allow, right? So we should modify that. What is this size? Okay, before that we can insert one record. Okay, we'll see. I don't want to disturb here. We'll take it downside. Okay, for now we learn 2 commands under what is this data definition language. One is create and one more alter plus add. Okay, so just we'll start DMLs also here. DMLs we know, right? Use it to work on data. So we'll start with insert, and then again we can insert a row into table by using three methods. We will see one by one later in next sessions. For now, directly I'm insert into what is this student values. So when we have all column values, directly we can go with the insert into student and values. Okay, otherwise we'll go with the few columns. Let me take only student ID for now, right? So if we have specific column values, then we can provide that list of columns which we have. So for, let's say for now I have only student ID and name, right? So I don't have date of join, gender, branch, because let's say I'm not sure either he is going to join with this college or not, right? So he provided student ID and student name. So what are the values? Okay, student ID 1 example, and then name Zan Peter. Okay, so it have 4 and then 5 in between one, so it's 10 characters. Okay, one row inserted. So let me run select statement again to see the data. You see student ID 1 and John Peter got inserted. Remaining all columns which we didn't provided by default will be updated as nulls. Okay, so later we can update that row. Okay, that we can see that is different concept. Okay, let's say another student is going to register, then student ID is 2. Let's say his name something else. What else? Mhm. So see Virat Kohli PK. In between I have one space. How many characters it is? 5 space 10. Okay, 11 14. Randomly I'm giving some characters. Okay, again I'm going to say Anushka something. Will it representing 20 characters? Again Virat. Okay, simply I'm giving some characters to increase the size. Okay, what error we are going to face, and to see this size, length of the size, we can use length function. We have a lot more functions in SQL, right? Okay, so 33 characters, we are good. Okay, so let's say now I'm going to insert same. So when I insert my first student info, where I see ID as 1, right, and name John Peter, which is having only 10 characters, it got allowed, I mean it got inserted, right? We can see that student info in our table. But now I ran second student Virat Kohli 1, which is having 33 characters, but we are going to store only 20 characters in that student name column, right? So now we are facing size issue. See, value too large for column student name, max actual 33, but maximum size we can store up to 20 characters. So now what is the option we have? So already we created that table with student name so and so size. That is the maximum size. Now Virat Kohli came with 33 characters of name, right, which is valid. We need to modify our structure. So student name already is there. Okay, by using modify and then same column, what we are going to modify? Just extending size of that column. So earlier we have 30 characters, sorry, 20 characters. Now I'm going to say 50 characters. Means now onwards, the student name we can have up to 30 characters. So just I'm altering, modifying existing column size. Student altered, right? So now if I try to insert Virat Kohli's record, it will allow us to store one row inserted. So if I refresh my data, we can see second record. So and so Virat Kohli, we guess, right? So alter plus modify can modify size of column, existing column. Or else if we want to change the data type, we can change by using same name. As I said, right? So initially we created student ID to store only numbers. Let's say later they changed it to store characters also. Simply in place of number, we can say varchar, right? So existing student ID column name is same, but we want to change it to character data type. Okay. So instead of number, we can say varchar 2 and then up to 10, same as it is. Right now, if I change column 2, 1, 5 must be empty. Okay, already we inserted, it should be empty. Yes, we can see this one, right? But this is the process. So student modify student ID. So why we are getting this error means always if we want to modify what is this data type, the table should be empty, right? Because already data is there. We inserted two records, 1, 2, which is number data type. Now we are coming with change varchar data type. So varchar is fine. It will allow characters numbers, right? So it can say yes, but what if we try to update character to number? So if we have entire row, I mean entire this column values as characters, sorry, numbers, we can convert it as a number data type. But what if we have mixed combination characters numbers? It won't allow us to change from character to number, right? That is why table should be empty to modify data types. Okay, data types, not size. Okay, so anyhow, we did change for the student name, right? We increased, let it be. Okay, so this is the one we tried. So we are good with adding and modifying. Same way, you can see remaining two also. Okay, in this table, let's say I don't want to use branch for now, right? So I don't want this column. Later I can add it, but now I don't want to use branch column. Simply we can alter the table by dropping. Drop, what we are going to drop? Branch. And while dropping, we don't need to provide any data types and all, and we need to say column before that. Okay, so alter table student, drop column branch. Again, student table got altered. Now if I run, we don't see branch column anymore. Okay, so that is how we can drop any unnecessary columns which we are not going to use. So it can be also one real-time requirement, and they can prepare one 10 what is this 10 sheet Word document to drop a column, right? Okay, this column is going to use to store this information, and in future we don't need anymore. You can drop this column, right? So that will come as one requirement in real-time projects, and just you need to run this alter, right? Alter table student and drop whatever the column name we are going to drop. Okay, but it can be also considered as one requirement for changes. Next one, sorry, this one is dropped, right? Alter plus drop, alter plus rename. Okay, coming to rename, what we can see. Okay, so this one, let's say DOZ. What is, we are using shortcut, right? So it is date of birth, but we are using a shortcut name. We know it is going to store student date of birth, but what if some other is going to access same column name from front end? Okay, enter your DOB, what it is, right? So clearly if we are going to fill any online applications, if it is clear, right, enter your date of birth, so directly we can enter date of birth, fine, right? What if they are giving enter your DOB, what it is? So if we are aware of this shortcut, we are good. We can enter our date of birth only. What if we don't know? Again, we need to use some other platform to search what is the full form of DOB used in this application, so on so, right? So if it is providing any answer for that, okay, we will get to know it is date of birth, and we need to enter our date of birth. right? So to make it very clear, if they come up with name, okay, so answer table, you is a DOB and we are not able to understand, make a change for it to understandable format, to understandable naming convention. So we can use rename option here. So alter table, our student table, rename column, what it is, DOB to new one. Okay, what is our new column name? Date underscore of underscore path. Okay, so I'm changing it from DOB to date of birth. Date of birth. That's it. So student table altered. Now if I query my student table, instead of DOB, we can see date of birth. Okay, so that is how we can make changes to our existing table. Adding columns, modifying columns, dropping columns, renaming columns by using alter plus this command. Okay, but in DDL, data definition language, alter will be considered as one command. Under that alter we have 4 commands again, like this. Okay, everyone clear up to here? So any table we are going to use same syntaxes. So alter table, table name, add column name, that data type. Only user, we are going to provide our table name and then column name. It is the change, part of syntax changes. Okay, you can see that. Alter table, provide table name and add column. What is column? You are going to add data type. What data type it is? And number. Size of the data type. Then modifying. It is used to modify the column in a table. Okay. Modify column. Again, modifying is nothing but either data type or size. Remember that. Don't get confused in between modify and drop. Drop totally we are going to drop that column from our table. It is not going to available once we execute this command, this script. Okay, and if we want to change a column name, we are going to use rename. So these all are the main requirements we can see on table structure modifications. So everyone clear on creating and then altering? Anyone have any questions? Able to understand what we are discussing? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, fine. So we discussed create, alter, right? We will discuss drop, rename, truncate in next classes. Okay, so initially first 1 week it will be slow only because few people came from non-technical background and few might not aware of this programming language syntaxes and all, right? So initial 1 week I will go very slow, right? After that, once you are good in these three, DDL, DML, DQL, so these three sub languages are very important, right? So once we are good here, then we can play with other commands later. Okay, it will be very easy from there. So rollback directly we are going to execute it. No need to add any changes and all. So rollback, say rollback. That's it. Commit, save point. Okay, and grant again we need to follow some syntax here. We'll see one by one. And the classes, all these are like supportive only. So already I'm using, right, select to from, right, and we filter where condition. So you see, select is one class, from is one class, right? And again if I use any filter, so where student std, I used a, what is that, std, okay, std id equal to 1. So it is used to filter the data, right? It is printing only student id 1 info, where it is also one type of class. Like that we have 7 types of classes. We will discuss one by one. So what is the use of select, from, where, again? Okay,
So I will share this document with you, and what are the concepts we will complete on daily basis. You can go through the same. Right? Again, data types we didn't discuss all. Mainly initial stages we will concentrate on four types: number, char, varchar to date. These four only we will use in real time tables also more, right? And remaining rare cases and images, these all we don't get at all, right? That is different. Okay, mainly concentrate on these four types also only. Okay, so today we covered introduction part. Data types only we discussed four types. Then DDL, two commands only. We practically seen two commands. That is create, alter. We have three more. We will see what these commands will do. Okay, so that's all I have for today. Right, again we'll connect tomorrow same time, 8:30. Okay, and software installation we can start from Wednesday, because Monday and Tuesday I need to go to office. Right, from Wednesday to Friday I will be available at home, so that I can help you if we get any errors in between while installing the softwares. Okay, but today I will share this document with you all. I'm going to stop recording.